then introducing the idea of magnetism. This is a tray for sorting of magnetic and non-magnetic items. There's a magnet in here. This is another little magic thing that with the water where this is a clean stock. where this stock was filled. And we introduced the basic idea of compass. Not that we say compass, but we have a needle here floating on water, and we rub it with the end of the. If I didn't rub it, and if I take it out, now I will get red. And remove.
Well, you can even just put it on the surface of the water if you're careful, and it will. Yeah, and it will point north.
Don't go too close, right? Oh, thanks.
Yeah, very gently.
Can you do it with a little piece of paper towel and putting the needle on first and then slowly removing the paper towel?
The needle has to be dry, very dry. And when you place it on there, you have to be just right directly, straight over the water. Try it a few times. Everybody can try that a few times. But, they love the fact that you have a needle that's magnetized, and then it points north, and then you can drop it on a hard surface, and the magnetism is gone, show that it leaves. And so you don't want to drop your magnets, because they will lose their magnetism, and they won't gain it back.
And we have magnifying glass. We have rocks or shells in the classroom. They look at anything in the classroom to magnify how it magnifies, and we show them in a sunny room how it catches the sunlight and moves the spot. And on a sunny day, we take it out with a piece of paper and catch it and show them how they can start a fire.
That's lovely.
Yeah. But it might help them survive someday.
That's right. Yes, absolutely.
And here I forgot my little piece of wax. 3 stages of matter. The words would be solid, liquid, and gas. And we have a candle, and we'll heat it up. And at first it's hot, of course, and then the wax melts, and then they see it rise and disappear. And that is.
And then you turn the spoon over, and they see carbon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the beginning of, or the common element in the universe.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's go over to the calendar, the history. I spoke a little bit about the calendar. We have the tear-off pages for every day. We put them on the wall. They have a visual of how it gets longer every week, and then we put the whole month together, and then at the very end of the year, we have all these rolls of every month, and we stretch it all across the classroom, and they see the whole time they came to school, the school year, as a visual. And we celebrate their birthdays with, they can trace the number on, whether they turn 3, 4, 5, or 6 in this case, make a timeline. This is how long it is when I'm 4, and this is how long it is when I'm 6. And it gets long, and they have experience there with a calendar, and they can make one for themselves, and then their siblings or parents or teachers or friends. And the birthday celebration, the candle represents the sun, and they stand at the month they're born, and for every year they walk around once, and that's why we ask you to bring a picture for every year, for birth and then every year. And we ask the child, what could you do when you were born? What was your life like when you were 1 or 2 or 3 or 4? And we have a picture to show the whole classroom. So they share that. And then we introduce the clock, and we have a very similar clock, a round clock. These can be taken out, and at first the child just looks and recognizes the numbers and tries to match these to the clock. And we tell them that there is a long hand and a short hand, and we have the clock in the classroom, and in circle time we might say, let's just watch the long hand move from one increment to the next, and to just really wait it out, and they get an experience of the duration of 1 minute. That is the introduction to the concept of 1 minute. And then we have this little egg timer, and we compare it, and they see that physically concrete, this is what takes 1 minute to run through. We tie much of the day into the concept of time. At 11 o'clock we do this, and this afternoon at 2 you might want to do this. So if they a little later on begin to read time, we can say, can you tell me at 10:45 to remind me, just tie the concept of time into their day. And we introduce the hour, the half hour, and the quarter hour by, we have these booklets, the stamps, and the shorthand tells us what hour it is, and the long hand needs to move around one entire time before the shorthand reaches the next hour. So we would go all the way around for the concept of 1 hour. And we have these wooden tablets that they go with stands, and they can match them to the little tag. This is not a match, it's 4 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And the same is then also for quarter hour. Well, this is quarter 2, this is half, this is quarter 2, and this is quarter past. And that is at this age group to where we take them through history, the concept of time.
Thank you. Yeah, for history, they need the concept of time before they can get into history, because they haven't lived that long. And they think 6 years is like really incredible. But when you, as a teacher, go around the circle for your birthday, however many times, they really get a sense of what history is like. Yeah, they get dizzy. They just go, oh.
I'm so bored.
Right.
Show up.
Well, before we go over to the other classroom, are there any questions here?
On zoology, just because death is inevitably part of life, and I'm thinking about the birds and wondering how that will be handled when an egg doesn't survive, a chick doesn't survive.
Yeah, in a way it already came up, because part of the evolution is that the toads in our classroom eat the insects, they eat the crickets, and that for some animals that is their way of survival. That is what they eat. And in my presence, there hasn't been any emotional concern around that. more taken as a fact. And with the eggs, the question is, we have the eggs, and if they don't hatch, or if babies die, or if they fall. Yeah. But
It's really amazing though, because, and Janine, you know too, is when you have the child that says, oh, the baby's or the baby's dead, and then you go, oh, then the child thinks, oh, but if you say, oh my,
yeah.
oh, that one didn't make it, or that one,
Yeah.
You don't have a big deal about it. It's just like when they find a dead animal, that's just part. You just make it, that it's not living anymore.
Yeah.
No, not living anymore.
Yeah.
But you don't just go throw it away.
Yeah. Well, I also think that, of course, all this has a lot to do with us too, and how we emanate to the child that we're only alive in the physical body, or we are alive, and the physical body is just one part of us. And that might disappear and it might change, but it's not all of me. And if I see that a child is really interested in that, or they really want to know, I might give them that as an option to think about, and if they accept that, then eventually they have to find out themselves, and they have to decide for themselves, what am I? What am I composed of? What is the real substance of me? Is it this bone and the flesh, or is there more to me? And
No, I think the more we accept it as things as a natural process, the better they are adapting to the flow of life, and not becoming callous to it, but just, oh, that died, and oh, this one lived, that type of thing. So, but not to make a great big deal out of it.
Yeah, not in a way that it's an
Scary situation.
Scary. Well, I haven't talked to Rebecca, but I would strongly